Hello and welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast. The podcast for today's hits and yesterday's favorites. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Gay Fat Friend, a.k.a. Todd. And joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny, adorable, spinny little husband, Rob.
What?
You spin like a record.
Oh, right round, baby.
Also, we posted that video of me spinning you like a dog.
Ah, yes. I was like, what?
We literally just filmed that. You already forgot?
I don't need a reputation of being a spinner, though. That's like kind of I don't know. That's a weird assumption. And
is that a sex thing?
I mean, that's what a lot of people like making that joke, given that I'm a small man. But I personally don't appreciate, people getting weird about stuff.
Try not being small. Have you ever thought of that?
I've thought about it, yes.
Sit and spin.
Yeah,
but wasn't that also a popular toy of the 80s?
The sit and spin, I believe, was a popular toy of the 80s.
Or something?
Or at least it's been like a mock-up of a popular toy that made the rounds on the internet.
Besides the obvious title, sitting and spinning, what was the toy? What did you do?
I think it's one of those things that you sat on that was like a large plate, and it was like a mini version, self-propelled of the teacups at Disneyland.
The teacups at McDonald's. Yeah. So it was like plates,
and then
maybe ball bearings were involved.
Yeah, you sat on like the giant platform on the bottom, and then up top you had like the thing, like it was just above your legs, and you sat and did that, and it would kind of propel you to spin. Much
in the same realm of toys from our youth, the Skip It. Did you ever have a Skip It?
I did not have a Skip It, but I had friends that did.
I couldn't really work a Skip It because my foot was too big to get through the hole, and the hole was not adjustable.
Well, that's when you got to do the DIY Skip It.
What's that?
It's a hula hoop. Same thing. Same premise.
Oh, yeah.
It basically works the same way. You just got to work a little bit differently.
One of my greatest failures and regrets in life is that I don't have hula hoop in my body. I cannot do it. I don't know how they work. I can't do it. It's just not there.
It's funny because I have odd hula hoop powers. Nothing showy, but also I'm brand specific. I need like the sort of white and either pink or blue striped version that has the weights in it, and like regulation size. That's what I need. But it's funny, like if you get one of those on me, I can start it and I can basically keep it going with not very much hip movement. So it's not a hula hoop per se for me, but I can basically do a toe tap with one foot and keep it going with 100% confidence. 100%. No problem.
Did see I'm glad I've never seen you hula hoop. Not that it would really change anything, but I did see a very funny TikTok of a girl being like, I just developed my first ick of my husband, and it's him trying to hula hoop.
People
and she's
who
like,
can't hula hoop, they look weird.
That's me. I don't have it in my body. I can't make that S curve.
People do way too much. And like that's the thing. It's like and it could just be that I have a very specific, hip size to the hoop. Like it's very like if you give me an unweighted hoop, I'm fucked. Yeah. But like if you give me like a one that I've gotten used to like that, like I remember I think there was like a thing in elementary school where it was like a hula hoop marathon. How long could you go?
Oh yeah.
And like the thing is, I'm not doing tricks. I could read a book. Yeah. If you let me at that point. But like the problem is like I'm not moving it around. I'm not shaking it up.
Well. I can do it on my neck. I can do it on my arms. No, I could hula hoop my arms all day long, just like giant bracelets. Yeah. Like you're milking two big cows. I could do that forever, but I just don't have hula hoop in my waist. It's very weird.
But it also has been like, I don't know, 20 years since I've had the hula hoop that I think of in my head that I need for this. So like situation for me to test it or to show off or confirm that I still can is few and far between.
My favorite thing to do with a hula hoop was where you take it, kind of sideways and you fling it away from yourself, but you spin it to where it'll roll away from you momentumly. Is that a word? But then it'll catch up to the spin you put on it and then it'll roll back to you. And it was like a hula hoop yo-yo.
Yeah, you're like a wizard.
Because, when you're a giant fat kid and you can't do a hula hoop, you got to make it work because you want to participate. Okay? You find a way. It's like nature.
Well, it's funny. And like I remember for a second, I was short enough to jump rope with a hula hoop. That is difficult as an adult.
Oh, where you spin it around your head?
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, that's a little privilege. You could do that late into life.
Even for me, that is a hunch move now.
Yeah.
And it's a tight knee pull.
It makes you prance like a pony.
But I can do it. But yeah, like when I was a kid, hula hoop jump roping was much more doable.
I've always been hula hoops and roller skaters. I've always been jealous. I also do not have roller skating in my body or ice skating or rollerblading, skateboarding, anything on wheels. I have no business on wheels.
I'm terrible on a skateboard, but I'm okay on a snowboard. I'm okay on roller skates and roller blades. I have never ice skated.
That's so weird.
So who knows how that will go.
Even though you're from the desert of Southern California, interior, inside skating is such a big deal. There's hockey rinks everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny. Where I grew up, it was much more of a street skate, like street hockey kind of vibe than
I've
ice
been
hockey.
to inside hockey skating rinks in Southern California because when I first moved to LA, I did background on television shows as a job, and I did an episode. I did an episode of CSI something. I don't remember which one, but I was in the CSI family because I did background on an episode where I think like a hockey player was killed, and I got to be background in a hockey rink all day, and it was so nice because it was during a heat wave, but those are like obviously cold. Like super cold all day long. So I got to wear like a cozy coat and sit on bleachers and just be a hockey fan for a day for $100.
Can you imagine what it would have been like to be an extra on set for the Parks and Recreation Get on Your Feet scene where they keep falling on the hockey rink after because they don't have enough carpet?
Was that in front of an audience?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it is a classic episode.
It was meant to be like I think a small rally. So I think there was, like hardcore supporters of the campaign there.
Yeah. I did, get screwed though later because I did 3 days on ER, which was very fun. But it was a Christmas episode of ER that we filmed in October during a heat wave. So I had to wear, ER took place in Chicago. I had to wear a trench coat, a scarf, gloves, and a hat walking around the ER set for 3 days. Just sweating my ass off to only be in half a second of one scene behind John Stamos. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't he on that show?
Was he eventually on that show?
I'm pretty sure I was behind John Stamos. Or Goran Viznik. Maybe I was behind Goran Viznik.
Because I stopped watching ER pretty much when it lost most of its, like every original cast member save for Noah Wyle. Like once... at that point, like that we checked out.
Yeah.
And it was, like I tuned in every now and then, like to see someone like lose an arm from a helicopter in an event episode, little stuff here and there. But for the most part, I'd bailed when the original cast had all been basically phased out.
Yeah. ER is the one I stuck through all the recasts and definitely finished that show. But only because I came back to it because I was on it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I should start watching again since I'm going to be on it.
Well, it's funny because like I worked at a record label that was basically connected to the Warner lot, more or less. Like we weren't on it, but we could get access if we knew somebody and got a pass. And so occasionally,
which isn't really that hard.
Yeah, and so occasionally we go there for lunch and meet up with some friends. And but like usually on the way there, we got to walk past various kind of things. And like one of the things that they still have up is the exterior, sort of ambulance
bay.
Yeah, and like the door that they leave when they're leaving work, that's still up. It looks so different during the day, and it's just been aged by time.
Well, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, well, at the time it was.
I was going to say,
this is like 2007,
you haven't worked there in decades.
maybe 2008. But it was funny though. Like I'd already tuned out of the show, and I remember like going there, people were like, "Oh yeah, that's the ER thing." And so like we'd wander over, and just take a photo because like, hey, why not? But I remember like one time, like the writer's strike had just ended.
The first one, the big one.
Yeah, the first big writer's strike had ended, and like I worked at a record label, and I was just coming here to get like cheap DVDs or Blu-rays because you get them at the store at a mega discount. But also, they had a really, really, really good cafeteria.
Oh, the Warner lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
And so,
good Cobb salad.
So we were walking over there, and all of a sudden, like a tour thing drives by, and it's just like me with like two other people, and we all kind of look the same. And they're like, "Oh, there are some people now. They look like they might be writers. Back to work. Hey, how's it going?" And I just looked out, and I, of course, to quote The Simpsons, I just yelled, "I'll have you know, I wandered off from the tour," and like just went on our business. But yeah, it was like fun. We had fun times back in the day, and good commissary food.
It's so funny. How your like luxury, not even luxury, but like dreams of fancy Hollywood just start to slowly get cracks and shatter as you live there longer and longer. And then like when you start, especially if you start doing background on a TV show at a major movie set and everybody is just so blue collar, just working jobs, everything's a facade, nothing's real, everything's run down. Like it's not fancy at all.
Well, and it was like even when we did like a Modern Family commercial together for when it got syndicated to USA. And like we literally got to use like dressing rooms that like big ass actors use, but it was like very much like, oh yeah, this is a business.
Yeah,
this is like you are the talent, and the talent does not mean much in this case. Like if you're a big name or not, you are meat through a grinder. You got work to do. Yeah,
like if you live in Kentucky, you probably do like drywall or a mechanic or work in a factory. But when you live in LA, you work on movie sets.
Yeah,
and it's the exact same thing.
Well, I remember the Home Depot on Sunset used to be open 24 hours a day. Obviously pre-pandemic, but even I think before like the pandemic, they'd already cut their hours down.
Yeah.
But I remember like when my sister had just started going to college in LA, and like she would literally be like, yeah, I only go to Home Depot in the middle of the night because I just don't have time during the day and it's open. And so like that's when I go to get like my window air conditioner unit. And like literally she ran into like Lawrence Fishburne there on like a weekend, and she was like, that's neat. But like she said, I was like, wait, why are they open 24/7? She's like, dude, it is nothing but carpenters for movies, buying lumber, and like doing stuff for like overnight set building. That's all it is. She's like, but they're open, it's safe, it's busy. She's like, so I can go do my thing. But other than that, it's just people trying to get their jobs done.
Also, back in the day, before, like shoplifting really blew up, everything was 24 hours, especially in a major city.
Yeah.
Like you could go shopping at 3 a.m. anywhere if you wanted, like a major retailer.
So I got really spoiled by being in Los Angeles for as long as we were, because I'm just used to places being open.
I preferred to go grocery shopping at midnight because there's never anyone there. The shelves are usually freshly stocked, or they're stocking them.
Yeah.
Like that's usually when they stock stuff. But like now, of course, I like to go at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. But back in the day, especially in college, like Walmart's used to be 24 hours. I don't know if any of them are anymore. But when I was in college, Walmart was 24 hours, and I was a night owl. Like I cannot fall asleep to save my life. And so I'd be like, oh, it's 4:30 and I'm still not asleep. I'll go grocery shopping at Walmart. No one's there.
I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast or not, but like one of my favorite kind of phases of time of my entire life was the Christmas break when I was in college, when I was able to completely invert my sleep schedule, where I did not see the sun for 10 days. And now I'm saying that back, it's like kind of weird, but it was it was really, really cool at the time.
What are you, a nurse?
Because like, and it was not daylight savings hours. So because of that, like by the time I got up at like 5 o'clock, it was dark. And then I'd go to bed at like 5 o'clock as the sun was coming up. And so, but yeah, it was like nice because I was waking up at an hour where like all of my normal friends were getting off of work. So we could go get dinner, my first meal of the day. And then we could like catch a movie. And then they would go to bed for their normal lives, and then I would just go to my couch.
I used to pull on-naders all the time,
and, like, play video games and stuff.
I just and still, I mean, to this day, I have trouble falling asleep. I can do it now, and I usually do fall asleep around like midnight. But my whole life, even when I was like a baby, I hated going to bed early. My mind just races. I want to be up. I cannot fall asleep. I just don't have that like chemical in my body. You do.
Well, it's like it used to be the nighttime is the right time, and like I super came to life, and I was just like I can stay up forever. But yeah, I don't know. Now it's like I'm getting the sleep spells at like, I don't know, 9 p.m. And unfortunately, that's not a nap for me. Like, honestly, it doesn't matter if I get sleepy whenever. It's never a nap. I'm basically going to sleep.
Yeah, you will fall asleep at 6:30 and be like, I'm just going to rest my eyes. And then you just sleep through the night on the sofa.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is.
But also, like, since we've known each other, as soon as your head hits a pillow, you're out.
Oh, no.
Instantly.
Like, yeah,
and it's weird.
I'm an instant sleeper. That doesn't change.
I don't know how that works. That's crazy. I'm so jealous.
I don't know. It's funny. I guess I'm like a puppy. I'm just fighting it until it's too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I mean, now I feel that time with like looking at TikTok on my phone, but I have to lay in bed for at least 30 minutes before I even remotely start to get sleepy, even if I'm exhausted. The worst is when you like start to nod off on the sofa and then you're like, okay, I'm going to take myself to bed. And then that walking from the sofa to the bed is what just fully wakes up your body. Like you just ran a marathon. You're like, I'm ready to go.
Well, and for me, that's the part where I'm like, well, I need to brush my teeth and I need to put in my night guard and my retainer. And like, it becomes the like
chore list.
Well, and like literally just the process of brushing my teeth takes at least 2 minutes because the toothbrush has a timer. Like, and so like there's just a thing of like, cool, be prepared for the process to begin. And it's not like I'm doing a mega beauty regimen here, but it's enough to wake you up.
Yeah. Well, and your toothbrush just died today.
It's so sad. Pour one out for that Sonicare, like Sonicare number fucking 50. I feel like I go through those. Like people go through normal toothbrushes, but I do like them. So.
Well, it's I think partly your superpower as well. Yeah. Which is whatever your body
plastics.
does. Yeah. Something about Rob's body slowly erodes plastics.
It's weird.
And,
we could go into detail, but I think it's probably just better for people to see me as some sort of alien monster.
But yeah, we call it a superpower and be like, why is this PlayStation controller sticky?
Right? It's like, oh no.
Like, it's disintegrating.
The sticks are disintegrating somehow.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. Like, so very strange.
You know what? Between that and your nose hairs, I've tried to like sell the secrets to the government so they can weaponize it and pay us millions of dollars, but
there's some stuff about me that's just out of control.
You're just a scientific marvel.
True.
Well, when we were talking about weird toys from our childhood, there was another toy that we had in our home that we used. Scott, my older brother, used it more. It was his, but it was it was like an inflatable ball with. It looked like Saturn. It was like an inflatable ball with a plastic plate around it.
Yeah, it was like,
and you could jump on it.
I think it was called like a Jump It. Or
that,
something like that.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with those too.
I feel like it had bounce in the title. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, because it was like a peanut shaped ball.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, with the sort of the
disc
rings.
attached.
Yeah.
And you stood on either side of it and just bounced.
Well, and I remember like when I finally got like confident enough to, I think, like really be coordinated enough to use it, I was either too heavy or the thing was either poorly inflated enough to where like the disc just goes to the floor and just pops right off the ball. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I should not be doing this anymore.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be like a rubber ball, like a kickball, so it had like it could bounce. It wasn't like vinyl.
Yeah,
but
so
we had
that on it, crazy style.
Crazy style. Honestly, I think knowing my hoardy parents, that's probably still in the barn or something.
I'm sure it is cracked and dry.
Yeah, cracked and dried, and probably covered with some kind of rodent poop in the barn. Because that's what happens with all your childhood stuff when you grow up on a farm. Just ends up in the barn in a pile. There was another one too. I was trying to think.
Wait, maybe that's what happens to all the city kids' toys too. When the parents say it's going to a farm to play with others,
it's just your toys.
Yeah,
I think moon boots, right? Are they the ones like they were like big plastic shoes with springs in the bottom?
They were rubber bands.
Oh,
or at least like
your foot like nestled in a like hammock of rubber bands.
Yeah, I want to say that like at least the version I always saw of it was like the Nickelodeon brand moon shoes, and like they came with extra bands so you could like adjust it to your weight because you had to do it yourself to do the bands. And I know most people either found it not worth the effort or they were at the max weight size, and so you had to like literally just fill the thing with the bands, and it was a huge pain in the ass. And if you were too heavy, one would snap, and then as soon as that goes, and they just fall apart.
Oh, I wanted those so bad.
Same. It's like I never had them, but like they seemed so neat. But like all of my friends were like, they are not worth it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, good to know.
The way my grandma, my dad's mom, Grandma Ruth, who lived in San Francisco, did Christmas every year is she would send us a wish card. And I think it was the JCPenney wish book, but it also had like a toy section.
Oh, I loved that catalog.
And she would send that, and then we had to go through and cut out and I think we had like a max of like $40 or something. But toys back then were a nickel a piece. But she would say like cut out pictures and the catalog info, like the numbers and stuff, and glue it and like decorate your wish card and stuff and send it back. And it was like the best thing ever. And I remember, I want to say the moon boots were like $50 or something. They were like crazy expensive. And I wanted them so bad, but I think I was too heavy for them and I couldn't put them in my wish card. But every year when I did my wish card, I wanted them so bad.
Well, and it's so funny because I feel like such a nerd, but like even as a kid, I want to say most of my wish list was not physical toys. Most of my wish list was either video games, books, or honestly, I think I was getting VHS tapes of movies I liked and CDs eventually. Like I never stopped buying records, but like they stopped making them. And so, but it's weird. Like I literally think I was still collecting like media and stuff just because for me, I think I often was always disappointed in physical toys and how they kind of did their thing, but like media was something I knew I could count on.
Yeah.
And it was like very much like it fit into what I already had.
Had parents, they're still alive, but you have parents that understood like when someone asks for a gift, that's what they want. And that's what you should get them, not go your own route and get them something completely opposite or like knock off like my mother, I'd be like, for example, I would say, I want this pair of Nike shoes. And she'd be like, great. And then she would get me like Reeboks from Walmart. And I'm like, that's not that you don't understand.
Well, I mean, me.
And still to this day, that's how my mother gives a gift.
Well, and me because we've been together for forever, but I lay it on thick. So it's kind of hard to avoid the specifics of what I'm looking for. But also it's a thing of like, I remember, growing up, it was like, well, I want this game, but it needs to be on this platform. Mm-hmm. And like my mom was super cool about it. Like she never got me a game for a platform I didn't have. Like she was very attuned to like which systems we had going on.
Your mom really is like the best gift giver. You're the best gift giver.
Well, thank you. I learned from the best, honestly. Like I have learned from her. But yeah, it's one of those where like, I think, but just me being a specific giver, as long as you know when to listen, like I'll put you on the right track.
Yeah. The clues were always there, detective.
Right. You had all the clues.
Speaking of books and media, a friend of yours, a person you admire.
No, we're friends.
Wrote a book, and you want to promote it.
Well, yeah, he's friends. We've chatted in person twice.
We used to follow. I follow him on Threads now. We used to follow each other on Twitter way back in the day before I left Twitter.
Yeah.
And we used to like converse then, but I've never met him in real life.
Well, it's like, and I have, because and so like for years and he still does. He is a contributing writer to the Dice Awards, and he also does like late night stuff. And he's just a generally funny dude. And I've gotten to meet him in the last 2 years as the voice of God during rehearsal and stuff. So yeah, but he just wrote a book, came out April 1st. It's called Good Game, No Rematch, A Life Made of Video Games. The guy's name is Mike Drucker. It is super funny. I don't know. It's like, seriously, I know this is not how the show works. But like, anyway, I loved it. I read it basically in 1.25 sittings. I read 250 pages at once. It's super readable, really funny. The specifics of his life are his own, but like the broad shared experiences are very, very relatable.
Especially if you've been into video games.
It like it's funny. It speaks to my elder millennial video game heart. It's very, very. It's great and it's very funny. So
you were so cute. So, we record this podcast on Sunday, and I set up the studio, all the lights and the tripods and stuff. And Rob came down with the book, and he was like, "Can I promote this on the pod?" And I was like, "Sure." It was just the cutest little thing. Because, like, yeah, we don't normally do that. But
right. Well, and like,
also, that's your homework assignment for this week is read Mike's book.
Right. Well, and like earlier, I even reached out to him on, I think, Blue Sky now. And I was like, hey, what's the best way for people to buy this book? Like, that makes the most profit for you, And he was like, honestly, just you buying the book is nice. Like, just anything. Like, honestly, get it from your library. Like, just read it, talk about it. Like, take a look, see if it's for you. I thought it was great. And I bought it from bookshop.org, I believe, which is a online shop that benefits indie
instead of
retailers.
Amazon.
Yeah, I'm trying to go less big shops right now. So
we're doing really good with that too.
Right. Well, and I found a used book trade, but also they have new books in West Seattle that I'm really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
And if you want some cool signed first editions, I have recently traded a bunch in there.
Yeah.
So and I've seen the prices on them, and
they're pretty good.
Maybe I didn't realize what I had, but also their prices seem reasonable to me. And yeah, they got some cool stuff. So
yeah, we've been really good about we've cut our Amazon usage down way big. We do not go to Target at all. We haven't been to Target all year.
Yeah, no, I've been very either local.
We've never shopped at Walmart,
local or direct, whenever possible.
Yeah, and we're doing really well.
Yeah,
or we shop at corporations, stores, companies like Lego, who are like super progressive and great. Costco. Yeah. Costco and Lego, that's our big splurges now.
Yeah. Speaking of Lego, though.
Oh, we went. So, today's Sunday. Friday, we ran to the mall. Let's go to the mall. So now that I'm really into Lego and I've been like researching it more, and there's like discontinued sets, they don't sell anymore. They're hard to find, and you can get them on eBay and stuff. But there's also almost like GameStop. There are Lego shops, usually called like Bricks and Figs or Bricks and Wheels or Mini Bricks, something like that. And it's kind of like a secondhand Lego store, but they resell a lot of brand new, unopened, discontinued Lego boxes and stuff. So we finally checked out the one in Linwood because that's pretty much the only one in the Seattle area, which is
crazy.
Unfortunate. Yeah, there's nothing in Seattle. We talk about that all the time.
I'm shocked that there's not more Lego secondhand.
Yeah, like Lego resellers. Yeah. But we finally checked out the little Bricks and Figs and Wheels or whatever it's called in Linwood, and it was okay. I got a little set that I'm actually really excited about. I didn't even know existed, but also it's just very funny how it doesn't really matter the genre. If it's any kind of collectible, there's always like a comic book store guy from The Simpsons character that works there that's just like very knowledgeable, kind of rude, doesn't really want to help you, kind of thinks you're a loser for shopping there, but also like it's their shop, and they I thought that was a very funny experience. I was like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're at a secondhand game store or a secondhand action figure store or a puzzle and game store. It doesn't matter.
A record store, whatever.
A record store, any kind of collectible store. There's always going to be like, oh, you want that one? Ugh, okay.
Well, it's funny because it is a thing.
What a plebeian.
Where especially people who have knowledge that goes deep, it's one of those things where like when you find somebody else with the same kind of deep knowledge as you, it's one of two things. You either are best friends or you are mortal enemies. And like it's one of those things where like, I love video games. I'm not a gamer with a capital G anymore. I'm sorry. It's the group is weird. Love you dearly. I've gone to too many gamer meetups and kind of been like, I'm either too socially awkward for this or I'm not socially awkward enough. And like I don't know which one it is anymore. And like, and it's funny because like I know I can go super deep on a lot of stuff, but like at the same time, it's better I don't. And yeah, so it's kind of funny. I feel like whenever you get, because like, I worked at the Virgin Megastore, and yeah, I thought it was going to be a dream working at a record shop. You have no idea how many people walk up to you and go, I'm looking for that song that goes like, na, 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 na. And you're like, this is the book department, sir. And they're like, I know, but the record area is so busy. And I'm like, okay, go yell at them like your song. But like, I can't help you. I'm sorry. But like, it's amazing how much, like when you work in those like niche fields, how much you're like, some of you are really hard to work with.
That's the thing about working with the public. Cause sometimes I like daydream. I'm like, what if I went back to waiting tables? I'm like too big and too old to wait tables. I feel like in Seattle, but I always daydream. I'm like, what if I went back to waiting tables? Cause I was really good at it. I've said it before. I'm really good at waiting tables. But then I remember like people have gotten so much stupider now. And like, especially now that like phones and reviews are in play, it's too much. I can't handle it. But when people are like, oh, does this fully wheat bread pasta have gluten in it? Do you even know your own disease? Right. Why are you asking that question?
Like, do you want it to?
Yeah. Right.
You start acting like the Gap girls from the SNL sketch. Do you want it to shrink?
Yeah.
It'll shrink it just as much as you want it to.
Well, also, I'm so bad because I used to do this back in the day, but like, unless someone said they were like allergic to something, but if somebody was just trying to be like organic, free range, whatever, especially living in LA, waiting tables in LA, people be like, are these eggs free range? I would literally just say yes. Or I would be like a sex worker and be like, what do you want? I'll be whatever you want, sweetie.
Yeah.
Do you want them free range? I'll make them free range.
They were cubed if you want them to be. Like they were cubic shells. No,
especially also another trick of the trade, like not to spill table waiting secrets, but if you ever are one of those people that goes to a restaurant and you say, oh, I can't decide what's your favorite thing on the menu, or even if you're like, what's better, the $50 lobster or the $10 chicken sandwich? 100% of the time, a server is always going to tell you what's more expensive because they want their tip to go up. Yeah. So if you're the type of person to be like, oh, what's good here? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the $75 steak.
The pasta or the steak?
Yeah. So that's just a little insider trading from waiting tables. But.
Well, I do feel very lucky in that, like, for all the service-related jobs I've had, for the most part, I've gotten to work in, I don't want to say, like, elite retail stuff, but like I worked in like literally like book departments, record stores. I did work in a GameStop for a dark year of my life. But like, I got to work in cool places with stuff that I was excited to work with people that were generally kind of aspirational figures at the time. So yeah, I feel very lucky. And like, the biggest complaint I had at Walden Books was like magazine customers were tricky. But like, other than that, it's like, I was dealing with people who were at least literate. I can't imagine if I worked at a grocery store, everybody needs food.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's hangry. And like on a budget.
Yeah. Or at a restaurant, like seriously, I would go nuts.
Well, and like, I do think that every person should wait tables for at least 6 months. It should be like in some countries you have to join the army. I think in this country you have to wait tables for 6 months to like appreciate the system, make you a better customer, all that kind of stuff. Because it's a Wild West landscape of a job. But I will say real fast.
Yeah, no.
I personally can always tell when someone either waits tables or has waited tables. There's like a camaraderie there, and it's also like a, almost like an invisible tattoo on your skin. Like as soon as I start talking to somebody, I'll be like, "You've bartended, you've waited tables. I can tell in your voice, your mannerisms. You know how to deal with people, the way you joke. It's like, yeah, you've waited tables because, like I said, it's this familiarity." Amongst us.
Well, and that's so funny because similarly, happens less now in Seattle, but in Los Angeles especially, I can sniff out if you have reality TV producing on your resume. I'm sorry, I can just tell. There's a certain go get 'em attitude that you have that no one else has in the field, and like,
especially if you're like in a interviewing capacity, be like, oh, you were a story producer. You're trying to get storylines out of people.
Like it's funny. I don't want to say that there's a stink on you, but like there is a certain level of confidence that I lack.
Same.
that I can tell from reality producers. They are a unique bunch, that they are made of stronger stuff than I am.
Yeah, that and casting reality casting producers. Like, I've gotten tricked by so many before because they really make you feel pretty. It's almost like they're the stripper, like they make you feel so fancy and pretty. And then one time I auditioned for this, and I did so many video calls and calls on the phone for this. Remember Nicole Byer's show on Netflix called Nailed It? I don't think they do it anymore.
Has it gone away forever? I miss it.
I mean, they haven't done new episodes in years.
Yeah.
It might come back. But anyway, it's about bad cooks, bad bakers trying to make cakes. And they were going to do a spinoff about arts and crafts. But I went through the whole audition process because I'm a crafter. And especially back in the day, I was like crafting a ton.
Yeah.
And I auditioned and I went through so many levels. And they were like, you know what? We actually want people to be good on this show. We want people to succeed, all this stuff. And they're like, send us pictures of your crafting and all this stuff. And I sent so many PDFs and pictures of all the stuff I've ever made. And I went through all these steps. And then the show ended up not happening. I think they did like one episode of it and it didn't work. But I saw the show and I was like, wait a minute. They wanted me to be bad. They thought I was bad. I was like, how dare you? You made me feel pretty and special. Never again. And then I've fallen for it like 3 other times.
Well, it's funny because I do feel like at this point, I'm sure there's got to be a gag out there that there's got to be people who are doing like reality show casting that just are opening up dating accounts as like a way to shop for crazies.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
they fully
right?
do.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, I imagine you got to like to find truly like desperate weirdos. You got to look in some of the most interesting places.
They used to do it in real life. So my friend Shannon used to cast Big Brother, and she actually brought me in one day. She was like, we'll skip all the like regular levels and I'll just take you straight to producers, but we'll do a quick interview. And I was not like catty enough. Also, I didn't watch Big Brother, so I didn't know the games and stuff. It wasn't a fit. But anyway, Shannon cast Big Brother from like, I don't know, 2004 to 2010. Like, she did a pretty good chunk, and it was like she was there before and after smartphones. But anyway, we used to go out to bars to find people. She was like, let's go out tonight. We'll go raging. She's like, I need to find like 2 great gay guys. So we would go to like the Abbey or something, and we would just party and try to meet people that she could cast on TV shows. That's what they do. And I've seen people do it for
without the drama.
So many other shows. Yeah. They gotta find people out in the wild. So if you were ever picked up in a bar and then ended up on a reality show, that was planned.
And we want to hear about it.
Speaking of hear about it,
I feel like only whenever I went out to bars, all I ended up with was a bunch of empty free Zippo lighters after they scanned my driver's license. Seriously,
I always took the cigarettes because I was a
thinks
smoker.
I am such a smoker, given that like I have gotten a billion Zippos from them, and they're all lost. I have no idea where any of them are.
Back in the day, I'm pretty sure it's illegal now. Like, I think there's a full law against it. But back in the day, and not even like the day, this was like 15 years ago, you could go to a bar, usually in West Hollywood, and there would be a girl with a giant, almost like Velcro black cooler filled with cigarettes from either American Spirit or Camel. And they would have a little iPad, and you just had to like put in your email address and I think you had to put in your home address too, because I used to get coupons. But and then they would give you 2 packs of cigarettes, and we used to like have people be like, Katie, you don't smoke. Go get me 2 packs of smokes. And she'd be like, okay. And so you'd go out and get a handful of packs of cigarettes for free.
Of cigarettes. Well, it's funny because, I whenever I was like, I don't smoke. And they'd be like, well, we have lighters. And I was like, well, I love a free gift. But like usually for me, they had a scanner, and they would just take your photo ID and scan it.
It evolved into that. Yeah. And those are the early days of data collection. Right. Now they just steal your Facebook.
That's how I got on so many lists, probably.
Seriously. Like, how did my email address get into this promotions for all these nicotine products? And it's like, oh, yeah, I used to go to bars in 2008.
And get free shit at a cost.
Well, speaking of at a cost, not really, but it's time for our final segment, which is What's Your Order? What's Your Order? Last week, we took our very last slip of paper out of the What's Your Order box, and I ran out of ideas.
We've gone into unscripted territory now.
Yeah, this whole segment started with America's favorite fast food restaurants, and we burned through those in a year. And then I tried your favorite actor and singer, and now we've burned through all that. So a quip from Rob was like, oh, we're going to have to Google icebreakers at parties.
I was like, corporate icebreakers
But
soon.
it was an actual good idea. So I Googled icebreakers. I cut them up, and now they're in the What's Your Order box. So the What's Your Order segment is not going to be icebreakers. And I think since it was your idea, you should choose first.
Uh-oh.
So our first What's Your Order icebreaker is, and these are dumb, so be prepared. They're also very little. So today's What's Your Order icebreaker is...
If your pet could talk, what would they say?
Oh, this is actually a really good one for us.
Pretty funny.
Because we talk for Ruby all the time. Ruby has a distinct voice.
She does.
She's very smart.
She is.
She's a very smart girl.
Well, and she's had quite the life before she got to us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of just scandal.
Yeah. It's funny because, we have the same pet. So this segment, the answers to the segment, but you'll remember more than I do probably.
I was funny because I feel like Ruby has so many lives. That
She's had so many lives.
It's hard to know really what she would say if I had to just sort of pick one.
So we assume she's 5 years old, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Because she was rescued in Mexico from the beach in Puerto Vallarta. She lived in the shelter for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And they caught her as a puppy, so they think they kind of know her age. But she, like I said, was rescued from the beach in Mexico and lived in the shelter for 2 years. So we have this backstory that she was in the cartel.
Yes. She's also killed many men.
She's killed many people. Yes. And she doesn't like to talk about it.
No.
Because it was traumatic. She knows that she had to live that life to get to this life.
They were dark days.
So she respects her past, but she doesn't want to talk about it anymore. It is still on the table that one day someone could appear and ask her to finish a job. So we know that that's a possibility.
That's why she's coming. On high alert probably.
Yeah, but she's very knowledgeable about drugs, about smuggling. She knows all of it. And you don't want to mess with her.
No.
Because there's things she knows that would blow your mind.
Totally.
Things she's seen. She's seen some real dark stuff.
But when she talks to us, though, you'd never know it. Because she's just like, hey, Dad.
Yeah, love you, Dad.
Yeah.
Here's a present for you. And she will give us one of her babies, which is what we call her toys.
Yeah.
She's like, here's a baby for you. And then she'll just walk away. Yeah. But also she patrols the neighborhood. And sometimes her hackles go up. You can take the girl out of the cartel, but you can't take the cartel out of the girl.
You take the girl out of the barrio.
Yeah.
In this case, she's a little neighborhood girl.
Yeah, but she's very protective of us in the home. Always patrolling, always monitoring. She actually vigilant. Will not spend the night our old dog Braddock, the pug.
She literally slept in bed under covers between my knees.
Yeah, Braddock was a bed sleeper. Ruby will sleep in the bed, and especially if taking a nap or doing Legos or playing video games. Ruby will, we call it big bed. Ruby will lay in the big bed with us during the day, but as soon as it's lights out, time to go to bed, she will get up and leave because she has to sleep upstairs and patrol the home.
Yeah, and it's funny because wherever she starts at the end of the night. In the morning, she's not there.
Yeah.
She has at least 4 spots that she kind of moves through the night, and she kind of covers them all.
Well, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right? Or where you're going to be most comfy. You got to figure them all out. And be no, this is it.
But she also has a full-time job. She works 5, sometimes 6, 7 days a week.
Seriously, she goes into the office with me basically every day. But she goes in on weekends, too. And she goes into the office and just curls up in the love sack. And puts in those hours.
Yeah,
sometimes hard for the money.
Sometimes on a Saturday, we'll be in the living room, having breakfast or something, and she'll come out and look at us and be like, "What are you guys doing? It's a work day." And then she'll go into the office and take her 4 to 5 hour nap.
Yeah,
because somebody's got to do it.
Seriously, someone's got a nap in there.
Somebody's got to keep food on this table.
Right.
So
she's a busy woman.
But yeah, she's a busy woman. Now Braddock, our pug, she was MAGA.
Yeah,
she was violent.
We loved voicing all of the horrific, just nightmare, stupid shit.
Yeah,
coming out of our ignorant pug.
Because Braddock liked to stand in the window. This is when we lived in LA. She passed before we left LA, but she would stand in our front window and bark at people on the sidewalk. And it was usually get out of my country, speak English if you're going to live here, that kind of stuff. She was very MAGA.
We knew that she was really unhappy about having 2 dads.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was so homophobic.
Yeah. What a monster.
Yeah. She called us the gays all the time. And she was like, "You gays are so weird. I can't believe this is my life."
It was very much a you people kind of relationship.
Oh, yeah. Braddock loved a you people statement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Ruby is more progressive.
She is.
She does call us gay wads from time to time.
Well, I think it's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
From her, at least.
Yeah.
But,
But she also loves her dads.
Yeah.
She loves a hug. She likes to demand a hug. She's very paw expressive. So she'll walk up to you and just place a paw on you and be like, "It's time to pet me."
And she will lick my face.
Yeah.
Forever.
We call it face butter.
I don't know what it is, but my face is delicious. She loves it. She wants my face bones.
Rob is main dad. Now, this is a holdover from Braddock. Rob is main dad. I'm fun dad because I love to give a dog treats. I'm going to give a dog human food and treats.
You started as treat dad.
Yeah.
But I think with Ruby, we moved you over to Fun Dad after an episode of The Simpsons where they blog a food blog, and that's where Fun Dad came from.
Yeah, so I'm Fun Dad. But also, like, back in the day, and with Ruby too, you like to put your foot down sometimes with rules.
I'm the disciplinarian. I'm the consistent parent.
Yeah. And so, but also Rob had Braddock for 5 years before we met.
Yeah, I got her at 6 weeks.
So before I adopted her as my own, Rob was Braddock's dad. So he was main dad because he was the OG. And then I was Fun Dad because I gave her people food from the table.
Well, because he needed to win her over because she was kind of a bitch.
She side-eyed me she was my dog for 10 years until she died, and she side-eyed me all the way up until the end.
Yeah, like she
Even though she loved me.
No, she was very much like, you'd call her name and she'd look at you and be like, I'm considering it.
Yeah.
And I'm deciding against it, and I'm walking away now. And you're just like, okay, cool. Like, she was a cat, honestly. And so, yeah, it's one of those where he won her over with French fries. So he became treat dad for her.
Well, and much how, like, Ruby won't sleep in bed with us, Braddock would never sleep on my chest. But she would fully fall asleep snoring, laying on Rob, and they would sleep together all the time.
That was a throwback to puppy days, though.
I would try to get her to fall asleep on my arms or sleep on my chest. She wouldn't do it, ever.
It was like our first night in our first apartment together. I don't think I had assembled her crate yet, and I was just like, I'm so tired, and so I literally just laid on the couch because I hadn't built my bed yet either. I laid on like this old leather couch. And
that we still have. It's Ruby's sofa now.
Actually, no, it wasn't that one yet. It was my old like 1980s modern couch I got from my ex step grandmother. It was hilarious looking.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, well, she had a
ex step grandmother,
highly qualified relationship at this point. But yeah, and I literally just I was like, okay, Braddock, we're gonna do this, and so I laid on the couch and just had her on, like I held her in my chest, like to my chest, and she just passed out, and like we woke up exactly in that position, and so it's kind of funny, like she just got really good at snuggling up on me.
She also, like, I guess Ruby's kind of like this too, but Braddock had like a one and done memory of like one time Rob accidentally dropped a Wii remote on her, and she was afraid of.
She jumped on the couch and stood there, and I didn't see her, and I did a backswing, and it hit her in the face.
But for the rest of her life, afraid of remote controls and video game controllers.
All remotes, like you pick
afraid
up
of them.
You TV remote, a fan remote. She's just gonna walk away. She's like, I'm done. We're good.
Yeah, never again.
Yeah, like seriously, like for pugs being kind of dumb. That one stuck.
Yeah.
Like that was a life
lesson. They get like 5 memory slots, and that was one of her memory slots.
Most of them are food.
Yeah.
And then there's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ruby, she's a lover, and she's a fighter and a lover, but mostly a lover.
Yeah.
But I love her so much.
Oh, what a baby.
And I think we need to go see her.
Right? Seriously. Well, like, 'cause yeah, like she's very much a lover and a fighter, in that, like, especially if you start loving her so much that she wants to start biting. The first thing, like, because she like, I tend to rile her up where she wants to start like chewing on something, and it's amazing because like we'll start playing, and then the first thing she'll do is run away from me and go grab a toy.
Yeah.
So she's like, now I have something to chew. Now you can pet me more.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
She's definitely like when you get her riled, she's a riler.
But it's funny that she's kind of like, for your safety, I need something to chew on, and it shouldn't be you.
Yeah.
So let me go get something. Like, she's so considerate.
Yeah, but I just heard her patrolling, so I wonder what she. Somebody must be outside just living their lives.
Oh,
but how dare they?
I wish it was that fat raccoon that you saw.
Oh, that was a dream.
I wish I'd seen it.
Rob was in a meeting. It was during a work day, but in the guest bedroom, which we call Ruby TV, she'll sit on the guest bed and just watch the backyard and see all the various wildlife that's about.
Usually it's just a squirrel running along the top of the fence. But,
I'm assuming it was old because it was very gray. Like, it had raccoon coloring, but very gray, very fat. So it's either pregnant or just an old fatty raccoon. Climbed up the giant tree in our backyard, and we both watched it together, and then it started cleaning itself on a branch. Oh, it was like a cartoon. It was heaven.
I love raccoons.
They're so cute.
I know they're odd-tempered and fight
I
with
love how
dogs
many
and
of them
stuff.
live around us. Like, we've seen whole families. We've seen moms and babies just walking around. It's so cute.
Skittering down the road in the middle of the night.
They're so funny, and they make the best noises.
Oh, they're so cute. Their little hands.
But I think Ruby wants to devour them.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to be friends.
Ruby is very obsessed with bunnies, squirrels, and raccoons, anything small and furry. She has chased, like, there are bunnies that live under our deck, and sometimes we'll go in the backyard and we won't see it, and she'll, like, rapid fire chase a bunny, but they always get away. We don't know what'll happen if she grabs one.
No. Well, and
I don't think we want to find out.
Although we have gone on a walk where, like, there's been, unfortunately, a dead bunny. Like, not one that's been, like, ripped up. Somehow just a dead, very still intact bunny. Almost looks like it's
sleeping,
waiting to move.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like run up to it, and I've been like, and I pulled her back, and she's highly responsive to us, at least. So she like bails on it, but like she didn't go with it mouth open. Like she went there to kind of like smell, be like, what? Like, it's so funny because I feel like she sees the bunny in the distance and she's like, let me at him. She got up so close to this one and she's like, maybe she knew it was dead and it wasn't interesting anymore.
Yeah. I have a feeling she wouldn't know what to do with it if she got it.
Oh, yeah.
But she definitely wants to try. But I'm afraid also that if she gets it, she'll murder it. So.
Right. It's one of those, like, what happens
Luckily,
when
it
the dog
hasn't
catches the
happened
car kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was also with birds. Like, every bird flies away. Thank God. But I have no idea what would happen if she actually caught a bird.
Yeah. Well, that's from her cartel days.
Yeah.
That's how she survived. So, like I said, you can't take it out of her.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Don't
Yeah.
forget, Wednesdays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts,
and the
and
YouTubes.
YouTube, and Sunday mornings on TikTok. Thank you guys. The TikTok response has been great. I love that you guys are watching it on TikTok. That's so fun. So I'm going to keep uploading it there because I can post and schedule, and it's so fun.
Nice.
But yeah, and don't forget your homework assignment is go read Mike Drucker's book. What's it called
Seriously.
again?
Good Game, No Rematch, A Life in Video Games.
Yeah, and
It's Fabu.
it's a fun little memoir. And
Right.
we
Like-
should support more small essayists.
Right, it's up there with for biographies when it comes to like relatability and readability for me with Dave Holmes's Party of One.
Oh,
So if
fun.
you're feeling saucy, that's another really good one. That one's more music based than video game based.
Yeah.
So and he's I guess Gen X, but very similar kind of shared experience overall.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
Fun. Well, we love you guys. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.